ANC Chairperson Gwede Mantashe says rampant corruption in South Africa committed by some ANC leaders is a sign that they had a disdainful view of society. Mantashe made the comments in his keynote address at the 9th Eastern Cape ANC Elective Conference at the East London International Convention Centre. The three-day meeting will elect the provincial leadership with Oscar Mabuyane and Babalo Madigizela vying for the top post. But Dasha says most ANC-led municipalities are failing to provide the most basic amenities due to corruption. To get the latest from the ANC's Eastern Cape Provincial Conference, we're joined now by Abongile Jankies live from East London. Abongile speaks to us about what's happening there. But let's start, Abongile, with the failed court bid by the WB Rubusana region. So they had alleged irregularities. They were granted the application on an urgent basis. What was the court's finding on when it dismissed the application for an interdict?
Well, with regards to that application, it was dealt that it was not on an urgent basis. There was absence of urgency. That was Justice Judge Lang leaned on, that it was not on an urgent basis, and that matter can be reviewed at a later stage, even though the conference would have been done and dusted by then. But they are saying that it wasn't on an urgent basis. Even the annexures which the court papers were filed at, they are saying it was a bit hasty, and this was a rash decision which was not carefully thought. But the applicants say that they will probably appeal. They are studying the judgment, and then they will find a way forward. As you can see behind me, they were supposed to be adopting the credentials, the members, including the coordinator of the ANC here in the province, Lulama Ngugaitobi. We saw them walking in. We don't know what is happening at this stage, but the delegates have walked out of the conference room. As you can see, delegates walking out here. As you can see, all of them, even most of them, are walking out. We don't know at this stage what is happening, Tsepiso, but we'll try to find some answers. Mama Ucholo, you are live on Channel 404. That's a bit. Ucholo, Mama, indonenza na puma apa namsaji. Indonenza ni puma apa. It's a bit shy. Sir, can you kindly tell us why are you walking out here? You're supposed to be adopted credential.
No, siyolala ngokusawudibana zongomso.
Have you been told to go and sleep now? Oh, it's a bit late. Okay. She's saying that they have been told to go and sleep, but I want to find out. I'm looking for someone of a senior level here, even an NEC member, but I can't find one at this stage, but they are walking out. This gentleman is telling me that they were told to go and sleep at this stage. Let me try and find someone. Excuse me, sir. Why are you walking out of the room now? What's happening, sir?
We are adjourned, but the leadership will explain that later on to the media.
Why has it been adjourned? Why has it been adjourned?
Again, the leadership will explain the extent that we have to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm now joined by Dr. Aaron Motswaledi.
Jack, the media room.
What's happening? What's happening?
No. We are calling a press conference to brief you. Can you go to the media room?
Okay, we're supposed to.
We are calling a press conference to come in.
These are further delays. Kindly tell us what's happening. What's happening?
No, there's nothing untoward. We'll brief you in the media room.
When is the media briefing?
Now. We are walking there. Let's go. Let's go there now to the media room. Follow us. Yes, because if I talk to you, the others, no, please. We'll talk to all of you at the same time. Let's
come to you.
All right,
so let's go to the media room, then we'll hear from
All right, Bongile, Yankees reporter who is there in East London at the International Convention.
In earnest, having been opened by the national chairperson of the ANC, but also us delivering our political report and also presenting the organizational renewal discussion document. But during the day, we were alerted of a court action to litigate the conference, particularly around the branches from the Dr. Rubusana region. Indeed, that was the case, and then the court happened, as you all know now, and then we had to wait for that. That in a way, a little bit tempered with our speed we intended to move with, almost tempered with our initial velocity. So we had to be sluggish a bit because that court case was almost going to have some serious repercussions on the process which was ongoing here to complete the credentials. So the credentials committee was a bit delayed by that particular issue up until 9 p.m. But also from the steering committee, having received the reports that the National Dispute Resolution Committee had to conclude the latest or very last disputes that were before them by early hours of today, and that work had also to be reconciled with the work that was done by Credentials Committee, with all other issues of changing of delegates, etc. So that work needed some time for it to be properly sanitized. So on receiving the report as the steering committee just now, we thought we need some couple of time to make sure that now we are watertight around this issue of credentials. You all know that that's almost a life and death. So it's about the conference, and an elective conference must actually pass that test. And also we thought to deal with all these perceptions that are also created out there. What we went through in 2017 of making it a point that during the closed session, indeed people who will be inside that wall are really people who are delegates. So now with the latest decision of the NDRC, it's likely that there are some delegates, or one or two, that they might be in the conference, that probably, depending on the decision of the NDRC, if it is nullifying the branch, those people must be removed. But also a couple of people were not registered because they were waiting for this. So the registration process is now almost concluding now that everything is done and dusted. And the team that deals with the registration is almost there to really conclude the issue of registration with all the delegates that have been waiting, patiently waiting for their fate there being actually done. But also, if you would want to start a process of clearing the hall, definitely you would have want a situation where you remove people inside so that you tighten up security, and also removing you guys, as many as you are as well, so that we get those who must come inside the wall properly processed with all the security concerns that were also raised. We thought is going to be important that we are a bit patient with that, because we really don't want any element of taking chances around this. We don't want a unnecessary disputed conference post this process. We have already seen how litigious this exercise is. The 2017 conference, with all its history, was litigated up to the Constitutional Court. We were in the office for 4 years with the decision of Concord. Because we were thorough, we never lost a single case throughout that process. Even this time around, we thought it's important that we don't rush things and we become impatient unnecessarily around this issue. So tomorrow morning at 8, security plan will be out there. People will all be cleared as they come into a complete closed session. So I'm trying to say you are not invited tomorrow morning. It will be a closed session where credentials will be presented as the first item. So we'll be able to get all delegates process into this. At least if we can, probably we start by 9, latest 10, with credentials and all that. We are working on reviewing our program as we were intending to conclude latest tomorrow late, but already we made plans of moving to Monday because we couldn't start on Friday because of the long registration process, which is still a bit of a challenge now, a teething problem that we're dealing with. We're definitely going to push until midnight tomorrow. First thing tomorrow, credentials, they must be adopted. Nominations are confirmed. Contestants then raise their hands. Election start of the officials. We hope that exercise of electing officials should be done probably by lunch time, and it will be done concurrently with the commissions. The logistics committee and the secretariat are working on reviewing our program that we adopted so that it accommodate that. So clearly the president of the ANC is scheduled to come and close the conference by Monday, as we were actually putting it like that. So we are working on around that with the national office to look at that. So that was just a briefing to say now go and sleep. I've already seen the ANC team. I know East London has got a lot to offer. You see, they were even late to come in. So it's going to be important that we do everything and people go and rest and wake up tomorrow morning. We start with a closed session. You will be kept informed through these media interactions, even if we are on the closed session. So the team that is dealing with media won't really keep you in darkness. So you will be briefed about every step. Surely, when session is open during nomination, you will be invited to be part of that as you normally cover that part. So that was just an update. Aina mibuzo, aina ndizitheni kuba nicemezo zibane ibheke emnyango sidibane ngomso. We thought that, but it's important that you are also aware about this. We've just adjourned the conference now to allow that space, delegates relax, and so that people come back fresh. Credentials are discussed by people who are fresh, who know what is the eye of a needle is and how to elect leaders tomorrow, and leadership will be elected. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. He did indicate that we're not going to take questions, which means I will be restricting yourselves. When we give you an opportunity, make sure that you're straight to the point and don't take too long. Samgela, I see your hand is up. For now, you are the only one, unless there's someone that's in. Over to you.
Mr. Mabuyan, this allegation of ghost delegates also happened in 2017, which ultimately culminated in the festival of chairs. How sure are you that this time around you'll be able to avoid a situation where plenary during credentials descends into chaos and you see people flying chairs around and hitting one another? And secondly, why would you decide to move the issue of credentials to tomorrow instead of cleaning them up now and presenting them? Is there some form of other discussions that may be taking place in the form that your national chairperson, President Cyril Ramaphosa, said you must not leave this conference fractured and divided, but you must find a way of coming together and working with one another. Thank you.
Samgelo, that had nothing to do with the presentation that has been made by the chair, but of course I will allow him to respond as it's an important matter that needs to be addressed. All right, sorry, Chair. Samgelo is the only one, right?
Yeah, please.
Okay, we're closing after him. Thank you.
Thank you. In 2017, you are right, there were these allegations of bogus delegates. You know, when you go to conference, there are people who just move around and count whoever they come across and say that our numbers are okay. We are going to the conference. And when they get into the conference and seeing a lot of people in the conference and begin to say, and some of them are ghosts immediately. There's never been ghost in 2017, and unfortunately we had to be patient even then, remove people outside this precinct, allow them to come through with their tags and IDs one by one into this conference. And that was proven even then. There was no ghosts, as there are no ghost delegates as we speak. People who said they want conference, come rain, come shine, are the same people who went to court today to begin to say, no, that region must not participate, etc., etc. So we are just doing it for the sake of the ANC, not for anybody's interest or expedience. We are doing it so that ANC integrity is kept intact. And the integrity of this conference is not under any question. So we're doing it for that. I can tell you there are no bogus delegates here. They are not there. The only thing that we're doing now is to reconcile those who might have been dismissed by the NDRC latest and those that were attended to via the credentials committee with the verification process. You remember we were delayed on the credentials, on the verification report. We waited and waited until very late yesterday. So that on its own. And today we were delayed by the court. And we knew that court has got huge implications. That would have almost taken about 100 delegates out of the conference. So that was on its own important, so that we don't just take it for granted. So the similarity of 2017 and now is just something that is actually not existing, as it never existed then. Even tomorrow you'll be here. People you saw there will be same people whom you will see there. I've heard stories about ghosts, but I never hear that ghosts having warm bodies. It's something that people normally talk about, that you cannot really, it's not palpable. So you see people here, you don't see ghosts. And those who see ghosts, I can tell you it really exists in the figment of their imagination. So it's a very unfortunate situation. But for the ANC's sake, being thorough, very clinical, to make sure that the integrity of the ANC in the context of the ANC renewal is kept unshaken. So from where I'm seated, nothing like that. And of course, we said when we started even the political report, we have learned a lesson out of the 2017. You see, keeping people here discussing credentials when they are tired in the early hours of the morning is not an easy thing. I can tell you, chances of consensus are limited if you look at it. If you look at all this litigation, etc., those credentials are likely to be voted, but they must be voted by correct people who are here correctly so as delegates. The contest or the contestation in the conference really doesn't represent disunity. It actually reflects the democratic nature of the African National Congress. So members of the ANC have a right to really enjoy, as enshrined in the ANC Constitution, also have got duties. So it must not be misconstrued that if there's a contest, that simply means there's disunity. It would not be here if there was disunity. There's an organization that is relatively stable in the province, that is intact, that has got branches in good standing. That's the reason why we're able to take it to the conference. So I think that's the issue from where I'm seated. Dr. Aaron Mzwaledi wanted just to wrap up Mafago as well, but visitors.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Samkel, I was not here in 2017. So I don't know what happened. And and the decision the decision that we took in the steering committee was not informed by 27B because we didn't know what happened. But let's look at the practicality of it. The steering committee met, the steering committee of the conference, which consists of the provincial steering committee chaired by the convener here, Oscar Mabuya, and the national deployees chaired by myself. We sat together and we discussed. Now, after everything has been discussed, we finalized on what the credentials which we will submit to the conference are going to be. That process of cleaning up what we have discussed was not going to take less than an hour, you know, whereby we'll say now this one was registered wrongly, let him be deregistered. It's not that he's a ghost, he's a member of ANC from a branch, but it's not supposed to be in the conference. This one was supposed to be registered, but it's not. Let's register them. And when we take credentials to the conference, we'll have told them that. That will have taken an hour or even more. Then the issue of making sure that in the conference is the right delegates who are voting delegates. And you take them out. I'm sure you saw what happened this morning. When people were coming there, we were not really checking. That was not security. It wasn't. We were just saying, please pass, because we started very late. So we end up with people here who might not be ghosts, but who may not necessarily be voting delegates. So tomorrow is going to be a real security. The person who comes through that gates and getting here will be the person who is supposed to be here. And anybody who's not supposed to be here will never get through that gate. That process, I can assure you, Samkel, will not have taken us less than 3 hours. If you saw in the morning, even without doing a real security, we're just scanning the bags and all that and going past now. With real security, it won't take less than 3 hours, which means the credentials discussion was only going to start at 2 a.m. with people who are tired and irritated and all that. That was not going to be very nice. So we said they must go and rest. We'll start doing that. When credential starts, they are fresh. And if it so happened that credentials needed to be voted for, you know that these are the correct people. You don't then start from the beginning after discussing and say who's supposed to be here, who has got the right to vote. We know that everybody who's in there has got that right. Basically, that's what we are doing. Your suspicion that maybe is because we are discussing something somewhere and all that. It's not there. Absolutely, I can assure you there's nothing like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The press conference has come to an end, and a good night to you until we meet with you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.